At 11:11 a.m. on May 30th, Archangel Michael mentioned a name, and then everything went silent. Don't ignore this. The heavens trembled, the winds ceased, and time itself bowed as the clock struck 11:11 a.m. on the sacred morning of May 30th. On that divine timestamp, the voice of the Archangel pierced through the veil. It was not loud. It was not thunder. It was a whisper, a name. Your name. And in that moment, all of heaven fell into silence. An eerie stillness, a divine pause, a hush that rolled like thunder through the spirit realm. The angels stopped. The watchers stilled. Even creation tilted its ear. This wasn't an ordinary whisper. This was a holy utterance, a decree, a divine activation, and a sacred summons. You were not awake by chance. You didn't feel the chill up your spine for nothing. That pull in your spirit, that pressure in your chest, that unexplainable moment where everything felt different. That was no coincidence. That was alignment. The whisper of your name did not land in emptiness. It reverberated across realms. And now, you stand at the intersection of heaven's silence and your next chapter. Something activated that day. Something shifted. And only those who are chosen will hear it. Only those whose ears are tuned to the frequency of the Spirit will recognize the soundlessness as a signal. This is not a moment to brush off. This is a divine transaction. In that moment of silence, heaven initiated something. Something holy. Something irreversible. It was not an ending. It was a repositioning. And if you felt the weight of silence since then, know this. You are not being ignored. You are being summoned. Obedience now becomes the gate through which your purpose walks. The stillness is not your punishment. It is your preparation. Stillness means heaven has acted, and now waits for your response. Hear now the voice of the Archangel Michael, the warrior of God's heavenly host, speaking not in chaos, not in clamor, but in commanding stillness. He was summoned by divine ordinance on the morning of May 30th, not to warn the world, but to alert a remnant. Not to shout to the masses, but to whisper to the chosen. He was not sent to declare destruction. He was sent to initiate a reordering. And you, child of light, were part of that whispered decree. The name he spoke, it disrupted the spiritual airwaves. The moment it left his mouth, the heavens fell into a profound, supernatural silence. This was no accident. This was not emotional stillness. This was realm-shaking silence, an immediate halting of divine activity to mark the weight of the name mentioned. That name carried purpose. That name carried promise. That name carried you. And you felt it. You didn't just think it. You didn't imagine it. You felt time pause. Your breath caught. Your chest died. The veil thinned. It was as if the Spirit tapped you on the shoulder and whispered, "Be still." And in that stillness, a spiritual shift began to take form. The realm around you changed. You were no longer in the same position you were moments before. Heaven had moved. And now, so must you. This message isn't for everyone. This word is not public broadcast. It is a prophetic memo written in holy ink and sent by angelic courier straight to your soul. The message was wrapped in silence so only those spiritually awake would hear it. Only those sensitive to the tremors of the spirit realm would feel it. That's why the world hasn't noticed, but you have. That's why others are carrying on as if nothing happened, but you know something did. You've been marked. You've been alerted. You've been shifted. And I say to you, in the voice of Archangel Michael, remain still. Remain alert. Remain obedient. Because in the next few hours, something will manifest in the natural that was first whispered in the supernatural. What began in the silence will echo into reality, and it is your stillness that activates the process. Do not rush to speak. Do not rush to post. Do not rush to explain what you feel. Heaven didn't use noise to call you. Heaven used silence. So stay in alignment. Let your spirit remain quiet. Let your heart stay open. The silence is your positioning. It is your place of power. It is your spiritual camouflage while heaven rearranges the field. You are being whispered to while others are being distracted. You are being downloaded with instruction while others are scrolling through noise. That silence you feel is not emptiness. It is the fullness of angelic activity, veiled from human perception. The archangels whisper with the opening key. The silence that followed with the door being unlocked. And now, the movement begins. You are the one being called. You are the one whose name was spoken. You are the one chosen for such a time as this. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 999 is now surrounding you. When Archangel Michael released your name at 11:11 a.m., it didn't just ripple through the heavens. It tore through the undercurrents of emotional reality. It disturbed what was hidden. It ruffled what was mastered. It awakened spiritual ears on both sides of the realm, and someone, yes, someone in your life, heard it, but not in the way you did. Their spirit caught wind of it, but their heart wasn't ready for it. That's why you felt the shift. That's why their tone suddenly changed. That's why their eyes carry questions they refuse to ask. They heard your name echoed in spaces they didn't expect. A sacred name whispered in secret caused confusion to grow in their heart. The unease isn't yours. The emotional fog you're walking through, it didn't originate in your soul. It was transferred and was projected. You've been feeling emotions lately that don't belong to you. That irritation, that restlessness, that emotional tightness, that strained disconnection is spiritual interference. You're carrying spiritual interference from those who have felt your presence elevate but can't name why. They've seen something different in you. They've sensed a withdrawal they don't understand. They felt the silence and assumed absence, but in truth, it was presence, God's presence cloaking you in divine mystery. That name Michael whispered wasn't just a reminder of who you are. It was a disruption in the unseen. The adversaries of your soul were put on alert, and so were the people who once walked beside you without suspicion. And now, words are being interrupted. Conversations are shifting. Glances linger too long, and then quickly turn away. Silence sits heavily in rooms where there used to be lightness. There are gaps in what people say to you now, and gaps in what they don't say. That awkward hesitation isn't random. It's spiritual tension manifesting through human behavior. You were whispered about in the spirit, and those connected to your orbit are feeling it in the natural. Some feel drawn to you but don't know why. Others feel uncomfortable around you but can't explain it. The realm of gossip is stirring, yet the truth remains sealed, because this part of your journey is veiled for protection. Don't mistake their discomfort as your failure. Don't confuse their distance as divine disapproval. This is mystery in motion. You are moving through a divine veil, and the ones who aren't spiritually aligned will not understand. They can feel the elevation. They can sense the energy, but they don't have access to the blueprint. That's why suspicion rises. That's why rumors whisper. That's why confusion brews. You, dear one, are not the source of chaos. You are the source of spiritual clarity, and because of that, you unsettle the counterfeit. Your name wasn't whispered to bless the familiar. it was spoken to unlock your next. But the unlocking came with a cost, the disruption of emotional equilibrium. And though you didn't ask for it, you must walk through it. And yet, do not be moved. Do not bend to their confusion. You are not the same. You cannot fit into what you once did. You've outgrown the garments of acceptance, and heaven has clothed you in divine mystery. Be at peace with being misunderstood. Be at ease with being misread. Those who truly discern will sense your shift and not fear it. And those who fear it, they were never called to stay. This is not rejection. It is redirection. Heaven whispered your name to shake the foundations around you. You are the epicenter of a spiritual tremor, and now the pieces must settle where they may. Let them. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1516 is now activated. Hear this now. What you are experiencing is not emotional. It is not relational. It is not personal. It is spiritual warfare. Do not be deceived by the faces. Do not be distracted by the voices. What looks like conflict in the natural is actually collision in the spirit realm. Your name carries authority. Your life carries weight. And when Archangel Michael whispered your name, it did not land quietly. It landed with force. It sounded like thunder to demons. It struck like fire to familiar spirits. You have been feeling pressure, not because you're weak, but because you've been targeted. Not by man, but by darkness that fears your rising. You see, your name was not whispered in judgment. It was whispered as a declaration of readiness. Heaven has acknowledged your preparedness, and now hell had been placed on notice. The silence that followed wasn't emptiness. It was a heavenly war room going operational. Michael's silence was not confusion. It was protocol. The Archangel stepped back, not because nothing was happening, but because everything was. The quiet was strategy. The stillness was signal. It was battlefield activation. And now, your life is a spiritual territory under siege, not for defeat, but for divine victory. They think you're confused. They think you're stalling. But really, you are following divine timing. You are listening for instruction. You are yielding to stillness. You are waiting for heaven's nod before moving. That is not weakness. That is authority. You don't respond to noise. You move with purpose. You not confront them. They are not your enemies. They are symptoms. Your battle is not with flesh and blood. Your war is with spiritual forces in high places. And the higher you rise, the louder their weapons become. But the silence of heaven is louder still. It is the sound of strategies unfolding. It is the hum of angel wings drawing their swords. It is the echo of promises aligning with their appointed time. Your obedience is your weapon. Your stillness is your shield. Your peace is your protest. When you refuse to react, heaven reacts for you. When you choose silence, heaven speaks on your behalf. Divine surveillance is active. Angels are stationed around your dwelling. Don't you see? The atmosphere around you has shifted because heaven has taken over your case. Right now, in this very moment, divine eyes are watching. Not with judgment, but with record. Your movements are being documented. Your restraint is being noted. Every sigh, every pause, every time you chose silence over retaliation. It's being recorded, not for punishment, but for promotion. This battle is not about them. It's about what's in you. It's about the calling you carry. It's about the next level heaven is ready to thrust you into. And the silence you walk in is not delay. It is divine distancing. It is heaven pulling you back to launch you further. Stay the course. Stay in position. Stay cloaked in obedience. Because when Michael whispered your name, he also drew his sword, and your silence became your strategy. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $10. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Subscribe for more prophetic insight and exclusive updates. Your spirit-led journey is just beginning. Type "I am shielded" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 717 is now covering your path. Listen closely, for the air around you is not as it was. The moment Archangel Michael whispered your name at 11:11 a.m., the realm shifted. Heaven began to stir, and hell began to plot. What was once dormant has now awakened, not because of your weakness, but because of your alignment. Your obedience became a spotlight in the spirit, and now, behind closed doors, movements have begun. Eyes have turned. Voices have heard. Strategies are being written in the shadows. But hear me, this is not to provoke fear. This is to ignite discernment. You felt it, haven't you? That sensation like someone's watching. That strange tightness when you enter a room. That inner knowing that something is being spoken in your absence. You are not imagining it. Heaven is alerting you. What was once hidden is now unfolding. There is an energy of plotting in your atmosphere, not orchestrated by people alone, but influenced by spiritual antagonists who are threatened by your awakening. Your name, whispered by the Archangel, was a strike against their timeline. It interrupted their narrative. And now, they scramble in confusion. But here is what many miss. The silence that followed Michael's utterance wasn't empty. It was calculated. Heaven went silent to reposition. The angelic host stepped back, not in retreat, but to restructure. You are not in danger. You are in transition. Yet the ones watching you don't know that. They see you pause, and they interpret weakness. They see your silence, and they assume vulnerability. But they are mistaken. What they perceive as your stillness is actually heaven recalibrating your position. Michael stopped speaking because heaven needed to prepare the next wave of angelic movement. Within 72 hours, something is going to break open. Not something random, something divine. And that's why the tension has increased. That's why the people you thought were for you now stand in uncertainty. It's not their fault entirely. They feel the shift but can't explain it. And where there is spiritual confusion, flesh fills the void. They are repositioning themselves, not out of care, but out of curiosity. They don't want to protect you. They want to monitor you. But fear not. Your watching cannot halt what heaven has started. You not confront them. This is not the hour to explain. This is not the moment to expose. Silence is not cowardice. It is obedience. This is the time to observe, not react. Because if you move out of impulse, you may miss the divine detour that is forming around you. The plotting will come to light soon, not because you expose it, but because heaven reveals it. And here's what you must know. Though tension surrounds you, divine protection envelops you even more. Angels are walking beside you, not with words but with swords. You are surrounded not by fear, but by heavenly forces. And every moment you choose discernment over drama, you elevate above the reach of your adversaries. Mark this. By the end of these 72 hours, clarity will emerge. People will show their true posture. Hearts will reveal their true alignment. Heaven will expose what hell tried to hide. But until then, your obedience is your anchor. Remain in silence. Walk in wisdom. Wait in strength. You are not unprotected. You are under divine cover. Type "I walk in wisdom" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 3210 is covering your timeline. Now the instruction shifts. You've heard the whisper. You felt the disruption. You've seen the glances. You sensed the watchers. And now, I speak this directly into your spirit. Withdraw. Pull back, not in defeat but in divine design. Because when Archangel Michael mentioned your name, heaven began to orchestrate your protection through silence. Your stillness is not passive. It is not powerless. It is a holy technology, an instrument of strategy in the hands of the Most High. Your withdrawal is not disappearance. It is your weapon. When you pull back, you activate angelic warfare. Every time you choose quiet over conflict, you amplify your spiritual authority. This is not the season to speak everything. This is not the hour to explain your path. This is the hour to guard it. Michael has surrounded you with watchers, not people, but celestial guards. Invisible forces have stationed themselves at the corners of your life. You may not see them, but you feel the edge of their wings when danger tries to cross your path. You've been spared more than you know. You've been intercepted in the spirit before attacks reach the natural. You must speak these words daily now. I am hidden under divine silence. This is your declaration. This is your key. This is how you synchronize with heaven's hiding place. Because heaven hides what it is about to launch. God conceals what he is about to reveal in power. And you are in the final stage of divine concealment before elevation. Your responsibility is not to fight. It is to observe. It is to document. Write the vision. Journal the feelings. Pray in private. Process with God, not people. You do not need crowds to validate the call. This is your sacred journey, not a shared spectacle. The less they know, the more heaven can do. And while you wait, let your heart be stilled. Don't rush through this cocoon. Don't try to make noise to prove motion. You win more in stillness than you ever will in struggle. Your battles are being fought by one whose strength never tires. Michael's blade is drawn. Heaven's surveillance is active. And the darkness that dares approach you is being met with force unseen. Be cautious with your presence. Your presence is not casual, it's consecrated. Wherever you go, the realm shifts. Your silence carries vibration. Your stillness speaks thunderously in the spirit. Don't let them lure you into petty. Don't let them bait you into battles beneath your calling. Rise above, even in retreat. This silence is your shield. It wraps you. It hides you. It empowers you. It clears your path. Walk in it with dignity. Hold your posture with confidence. Heaven is not done with you. Heaven is just getting started. You are the hidden warrior, the concealed weapon, the chosen vessel, and your silence is preparing your arrival. Type "I am covered" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1818 is now sealing your space. There was a time, not long ago, when the silence made you question everything. When the hush that followed Archangel Michael's whisper left you wondering if you had been forgotten. But now, look again. Something inside you has changed. This is no longer the silence of sorrow. This is no longer the quiet of confusion. This is the silence of evolution. You, child of God, are no longer who you were. You have been changed by the stillness. You have been reshaped by what you didn't say, by what you didn't fight, by what you endured without needing to be understood. You have grown wings in places that once bled. The very areas where people wounded you, where life pierced you, have now become strongholds of power. You are walking differently. You are breathing differently. Your very presence speaks volumes, even though your mouth remains shut. What broke you before now builds you. What silenced you before now strengthens you. They thought your silence was surrender, but it was strategy. They assumed your withdrawal was weakness, but it was warfare. You are no longer fragile. You are forged. The fire didn't destroy you, it delivered you. The silence didn't suffocate you, it structured you. You stood still when everything inside you wanted to run, and that stillness has become your signal of power. You are not loud, but you are lethal in the spirit. You carry quiet authority now. The realm senses it. The earth feels it. Hell fears it. You are the warrior who has mastered the art of divine restraint. Now hear this. What heaven is doing and you cannot be undone by man. What Michael initiated at 11:11 a.m. cannot be reversed. The transformation wasn't temporary, it was total. You no longer fit the mold of your former self. You've outgrown the words they once used to define you. The criticisms, the assumptions, the attempts to reduce your identity, they no longer have jurisdiction. You've crossed a threshold. You are not in hiding. You are in holy hatching. And as you rise in silence, heaven is amplifying your presence through your absence. Doors are opening in rooms you haven't entered yet. Your name is being mentioned in spaces your feet have not touched. Your image is not needed because your anointing speaks first. They don't need to see you to feel you. That's the weight you now carry. You've been repositioned. Heaven is breathing into your lungs a new confidence, not arrogance but holy certainty. You are not who they thought. You are not what they feared. You are something greater, something sacred, something selected. And this empowerment is not to provoke, it's to position. Speak less. Rise more. Move in silence. Speak only when heaven instructs. Every word you now speak must carry weight, or you must hold it. This is your rise. This is your moment. This is your internal coronation. Your soul knows it. Your spirit feels it. The realm recognizes it. Let them misunderstand you. Let them mislabel you. You don't need to defend what God has declared. Your life is the evidence. Your breath is the proof. You are becoming the prophecy that was once spoken over you. Type "I rise" in silence in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2727 is activating your elevation. Now, we enter the heart of this divine unfolding, the prophetic revelation behind the silence. Let it be known that the silence that fell after 11:11 a.m. was not a pause in communication. It was the announcement of prophetic movement. Heaven was not ignoring you. It was exalting you in secret. When Michael mentioned your name, the echo wasn't just felt in the lower realms. It was received in the courts of heaven. And the scrolls were opened. The destiny you've carried quietly was officially released. This was not your punishment, it was your promotion. This was not your exile, it was your elevation. And now, revelation comes to light. The pain you endured, it was preparation. The silence you sat in, it was sacred instruction. The rejection you felt, it was redirection. Nothing you've walked through has been wasted. Every tear you cried was caught. Every breath you prayed was heard, and every silent moment was recorded in the archives of heaven. The whisper of your name was the final seal of approval. It wasn't a warning, it was an unlocking. Michael's voice was not speaking shame, it was announcing release. A moment with the opening of a scroll. That moment with the unleashing of prophecy long delayed but never denied. The things you thought were dormant, they've been in motion. The promises you thought were forgotten, they were being fortified. And now manifestation begins. Slowly at first, then suddenly. Heaven is beginning to roll back the veil, and what you see next will confirm what you sensed all along. Your life is not random. Your battles have not been in vain. You are not cursed, you are called. And the silence you've walked through has been the signal of heavenly negotiation. This is a divine setup. Everything is aligning. Heaven is positioning people, resources, and opportunities that were previously blocked. Your path is being cleared. Your name is being cleared. Your future is being ordered. All because a moment of silence triggered a season of manifestation. You've passed the test. You've endured the pressing. And now, the oil flows. You've carried this anointing for years, but now heaven reveals it. You survived what others would have collapsed under. You've remained faithful in private, and now comes public fulfillment. This is your scroll moment. This is your divine alignment. This is your unlocking. The heavens know your name. The angels know your call. And the adversary knows he can no longer delay what's coming. If this message resonates with your soul, consider sowing a super thanks. Contributions of up to $5 make a big difference and help us continue bringing these revelations forward. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Subscribe for deeper revelations and exclusive insight. Your spirit-led journey deserves continuous nourishment. Type I am unlocked in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 8080 is now releasing divine scrolls over your life. Now hear this. Your name was not whispered in vain. When Archangel Michael spoke your name into the ether at 11:11 a.m. on May 30th, heaven was not simply acknowledging your existence. It was activating your destiny. What many thought was your delay was actually divine calibration. Every setback was recalculating your steps. Every moment of silence was rerouting your future into alignment with the scrolls written before time began. This is the hour to rise, not in reaction, but in response. This is the moment to stand, not in fear, but in faith. Heaven waits not for emotion, but for obedience. Now is the time to declare, I move in heaven's silence with full authority, because the realm is shifting around your every movement. What you do now matters. What you decide now shapes outcomes not only in your life, but in the lives of those connected to your obedience. You are not stepping into mere opportunity. You are walking into ordination. This is not about open doors. This is about open timelines. Your yes right now unlocks realms that were once barred. Your hesitation delays not just you, but the divine ripple you were born to initiate. This moment requires your boldness. This moment demands your courage. You cannot shrink into comfort zones and expect elevation. You cannot keep hiding behind doubt and expect manifestation. You have been called out, not to be exposed, but to be equipped. Michael's whisper was your spiritual commissioning. And now, your bold steps become prophetic triggers. Write the vision. Yes, write it down. Heaven will not unmind a blueprint you refuse to create. Speak the promise. Yes, say it aloud. The realm responds to faith-filled sound. Activate alignment, not with mere declarations, but with divine decisions. Go where God says. Say what heaven speaks. Step where the Spirit leads. Every step now must be deliberate. Every move now must be saturated with divine instruction. You no longer have the luxury of random movement. You no longer have permission to delay destiny. The angelic realm has shifted into assignment mode. Angels are awaiting your movement. Doors are waiting for your knock. Favor is waiting for your presence. You've been hidden long enough. You've been preparing long enough. You've been tested long enough. This is not rehearsal. This is reality. The scroll has been opened. The whisper has become a wave. And the silence is now launch code. Do not stall at the edge of your breakthrough. You've come too far to turn back. You endure too much to doubt now. Let go of the need to explain your steps to people who aren't part of the prophecy. Let go of the need for approval from those who never heard the whisper. Heaven is not asking for your perfection. It's demanding your movement. Take the risk. Walk in the unknown. Trust the one who spoke your name when no one else saw your worth. And this, dear one, is the essence of your next level. Faith in the silence. Movement in the absence of noise. Obedience without validation. Courage without confirmation. This is where destiny breathes. This is where heaven claps. This is where your name becomes an echo in realms you've never seen. If this message resonates with your soul and you feel stirred to sow into this move, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your support helps us bring more prophetic clarity and powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Be sure to subscribe to stay connected to revelations like this. Your journey is unfolding, and heaven has more to reveal. Type "I am in motion" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 4411 is opening your scroll of destiny. While your feet have been planted on earthly ground, something sacred has been happening above you, round you, and within you. The silence you've walked through, the heavy, unshakable stillness, was not dead space. It was divine exchange. It was sacred transaction. It was holy negotiation taking place in the realm you cannot see. When Michael whispered your name at 11:11 a.m., the courts of heaven opened, and a silent procession began. Not one of ceremony, but one of compensation. Yes, compensation. The losses, the betrayals, the years of misunderstanding, the sacrifices, the midnight tears, the moments you bit your tongue instead of breaking their ego. All of it recorded. All of it weighed. And now, in this silent season, heaven hath been bartering on your behalf. The silence wasn't absence, it was activity. While your voice went quiet, the voice of heaven grew louder. While you stopped explaining, angels started negotiating. You gave God space, and God filled it with sovereignty. You see, not all exchanges are made in loud places. Some are finalized in sacred silences. Some are forged in the womb of stillness. Your name was spoken in private so God could work in public. You've seen delay, but God saw divine leverage. You felt like you lost, but God saw the legal right to restore. And now, the exchanges are being completed. Angels have been trading on your behalf, trading pain for promotion, loss for legacy, confusion for clarity. You haven't seen the full manifestation yet, but it's coming. What was once intangible is now forming. The ideas that wouldn't launch, they're gathering momentum. The connections that broke, they're being replaced. What was stolen, it's being returned, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Your tears, every one of them, became spiritual currency. They were not weakness, they were weight. Heaven collected each one and placed them as evidence on the altar of recompense. You thought you were just surviving, but you were investing in your future. You thought your silence was ignored, but it was the sound of surrender that summoned justice. And here is what few understand. The greatest shifts happen in the quietest moments. The tightness you felt at random hours, that unrest that came out of nowhere, those were signs that something was being released. Something was being loosed behind the veil. And Michael, he stood at the gate, not just as a messenger, but as a guardian of your transaction. He watched what they did to you. He stood silently as false words flew. And now, he stands as a witness to your recompense. This is not imagination. It is divine execution. You are not in waiting anymore. You are in exchange. Keep your posture low, your spirit high, and your eyes lifted. Because what comes next is not just breakthrough. It is divine reversal. Type "I receive the exchange" in the comments if you feel this word in your spirit. Blessing code 5656 is releasing your heavenly compensation. There is a reckoning in motion, a divine balancing of books. What was done to you in secret is now echoing in the chambers of justice. The very silence that surrounded you has become a testimony, an undeniable ledger of every injustice, every betrayal, every manipulation you endured without retaliation. The spiritual courtroom is no longer observing. It is now ruling. And the scales are tipping, not in your favor by chance, but by divine decree. Archangel Michael did not whisper your name just to activate your next season. He whispered it as a sign that justice was being summoned. They thought they got away with it. The lies, the schemes, the gaslighting, the slander, the manipulations behind the scenes. But the truth is this: heaven was recording when man was mocking. God was documenting when others were dismissing you. And now, the records are being opened. The silence was not neglect. It was divine delay to let their plans fully expose themselves. What they did was never unseen. What they whispered was never unheard. Every dart, every arrow, every trap, heaven saw it all. And now, justice is in motion. Divine justice doesn't shout. Divine justice shows up. Quietly. Swiftly. With force that cannot be undone. You won't need to fight for your name. God is doing it. You won't need to reclaim what was stolen. Heaven is returning it tenfold. The reversal has already begun. The tides are turning. The harvest is being routed into your hands. What they meant to break you has only built your case in heaven. And now, the reward is being unlocked. God doesn't just restore, He reverses. He doesn't just bring you back to where you were. He elevates you beyond where they thought you'd ever stand. The very places where you were silenced will now become platforms. The very people who dismissed you will now witness your rise. Not for their punishment, but for your positioning. Because your elevation is a sign to the atmosphere that obedience outweighs opposition. You kept silent. You walked in grace. You stayed low. And now God is lifting you high. Do not gloat. Do not flaunt. This is a holy reversal, not a petty one. Walk in honor. Move in mercy. But make no mistake, God is not mocked. What they sowed, they shall reap. And what you endured, you shall inherit. The fire that was meant to consume you has now refined you. The pit they dug for you has now become the foundation for your platform. The cloak of shame they tried to wrap you in has now become your garment of favor. This is divine justice, and it is righteous. You didn't miss your moment. You didn't lose your blessing. You were being hidden for this very hour. You are not stepping into compensation. You are stepping into a covenant. And the angels that once observed your pain are now delivering your promise. Michael has drawn his sword. The battle in the spirit is concluding, and the results are in your favor. So rest. Breathe. Release the bitterness. The revenge is not yours. It is the Lord's. And his revenge looks like redemption. His justice looks like joy. The weight is lifting. The evidence is surfacing. The verdict is clear. You are walking out of this season with more than you lost. With more clarity. More strength. More favor. More fire. More faith. Because you let heaven fight for you. Now heaven will favor you. Type "I claim divine justice" in the comments if you receive this. Blessing code 6363 is now declaring your reversal. And now, dear one, as we stand at the closing edge of this divine transmission, hear the voice of Archangel Michael thunder one last truth into your soul. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not overlooked. You are seen by God, even when earth tries to erase you. When your name was whispered at 11:11 a.m., it wasn't simply to start a series of shifts, it was to affirm that you are marked, sealed, set. You are on assignment, and your assignment is sacred. Michael's silence confirmed something deeper than activity. It confirmed your significance. Heaven doesn't go quiet over someone who carries nothing. That holy hush wasn't punishment. It was proof. Proof that your steps are divinely watched. That your timing is delicately guarded. That your life is a vessel of spiritual consequence. And now, with every breath you take, with every obedient step you make, you fulfill prophecy. This is not your end. This is your elevation. You are not walking away from power. You are stepping into it. You are not losing your voice. You are gaining your volume in the spirit. Everything that once limited you has now been leveraged. Every no has become your next level. Every delay has become divine delay for better alignment. So declare this now. I accept the silence as sacred strategy. Let those words seal your spirit. Let them anchor your next season. You are not moving out of survival. You are moving from sovereignty. Covered by grace. Cloaked in wisdom. Guided by the hand of the Most High. Go forth now, not with fear, but with fire. Go forth not to explain yourself, but to express the calling that rests on your life. You are no longer waiting for permission. You have been commissioned. You are covered. You are called. You are chosen. Let this blessing seal over you now. May every step you take from this moment be ordered. May your discernment sharpen. May your voice return with holy boldness. May every delay break. May every counterfeit be exposed. May every door meant for you fly open. May the peace of God fill your mind. May the presence of angels surround your home. And may the fire of heaven burn in your bones until every promise is fulfilled. If this word has confirmed what you've been feeling in your spirit, we invite you to support this divine work through super thanks, super stickers, or a $10 super chat. Every seed sown helps us speak, share, and strengthen more souls. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel for more divine insight, prophetic release, and revelation that confirms what heaven has already whispered to your soul. Type "I am sent" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 7777 is now releasing angelic affirmation over your journey.